Hi, everyone. It's Kelly from The Hub. Here today, of course, with Pastor Jim from Bergstrasse. How are you there, friend?
Good morning. Oh, I'm doing wonderful today. It's a very good day.
Good. Yeah, it is a very good day. It is.
Still early yet, but it's off to a great start. And
Yeah.
looking excited to the rest of the day.
Yeah, and we're like in mid-October.
Who would have thought that?
It was like July about an hour ago, and now it's mid-October. So I really don't understand this.
Guess I have to get my jack-o'-lantern out, don't I?
And your pumpkin spice everything.
Sorry. I'm not a pumpkin spice guy. Sorry. No.
You're mulled cider then.
Now that I will do.
There you go. So of course, we were chatting beforehand. I know you guys could all quote this with me. And so we were having a lot of, topics of we were going to talk about and all that kind of stuff. And we came to talking about things and like, how do you react when you are approached or you need to do something outside of your comfort zone? And I will start with a little story because this is very indicative of me. So when I was a kid, I had to learn swimming lessons. I had to take swimming lessons because I really wanted to go to like pool parties that my friends were having. And Mom said I couldn't go unless I could swim, but I thought that was dumb because I was just going to the pool. Didn't mean I had to swim. She was right, I was wrong. So I had to learn how to swim. So I went to swimming lessons and hated every single moment of them. I didn't feel comfortable in the pool. I couldn't really get the whole like move your arms and your head and your feet all at the same time, but doing different things. It was just not my forte. I did it because I really wanted to go to pool parties, but I never felt that I was, I'm no lifeguard, man. So that has always been my like, how do you know what to do when you're outside of your comfort level? And in my case, a lot of times I don't do it. And that's not a good approach because it just isn't. So this is a really timely thing for me because, and I'm sure for a lot of people, because there's a lot of things that just show up in your life that you sort of gotta do, or you should do.
Yeah.
So
First of all,
how do you handle all that? I mean, how do you handle that? You can't just do the 9-year-old me and go, well, I don't want to take swimming lessons, even though I did it. I didn't want to. I hated it.
So I have to tell you too that I had swimming lessons too when I was a kid, and I hated them. In fact, I still swim like a rock.
I just do the backstroke because then I get right. I sort of float that way, and I feel like that's my forte. Back, like laying on my back.
my sons, on the other hand, love swimming.
Oh,
love the water. But yeah, there are so many things that come across us that that we are encouraged to do that other people think that we, and including parents oftentimes, as they're educating their children, want to say, I think this would be good for you. I think this would be good for you. And some are and some aren't. Yep. And I find that I think that the greatest challenge is, especially if something is just coming to you and someone says, I want you to do this. I want you to learn how to swim, or I want you to learn how to fill in the blank, and you know nothing about it. It's like, I don't want to do that. I'm scared.
Right.
Everyone is always afraid of the unknown.
Yep.
Because we don't know what could lie ahead. For me, I was afraid of water. But I think one of the things that helps it out, though, is when someone says, I'm going to be with you to do this with you. I'm going to join you in this. And they authentically mean it, in that maybe they may not be the best swimmer either, or the best person to try it, but they are at least going to be with you.
Right, because then you don't feel like a fool, nor do you feel like a failure, because you're doing it with somebody so that you can be like, can you help me out with this part, or whatever it is that you need along the way.
And afterwards, maybe after that one lesson or that one experience, hopefully the person is wise enough to say to you, hey, you did very well with that. You did very well with that. And you know what? Maybe we can work on that together until the next lesson, until the next time where we get other people that I can be with you. I would not be a good swim instructor. But there are a whole lot of other things. There are a whole lot of other things though that, I'm willing to do with people. And I know that this is me. This is me. One of the things that I tell folks in my congregation and even in other ministry settings that I've been in, if you have an idea about something and you are devoted to it to make it work, I'll help you. Well, what do you know about that? And I go, nothing. I just know that you have a desire to make it happen. And if it's going to help other people, if it's going to help the world and bring life to one another, then we're going to do it.
And we do that at the Hub too. Like I have entertained some crazy ideas because people just were like, you know what? I was in the shower and I had this idea about whatever it was. What do you think about it? And I was like, well, let's just try it.
The craziest ideas have been the most life-giving.
Absolutely.
Have been the most life-giving. So one of the ones that I shared with Kelly just a few moments ago when we were putting this together was, a couple years ago, I was asked to teach a leadership camp that was with, teenagers and young adults. And they gave me the topic that we were going to talk about. And I was supposed to talk about a particular book of the Bible that's called Song of Songs. So here they are, these teenagers, these young adults show up, and I ask them why did they join this class? Well, it was because we're going to learn all about music. We're going to learn to sing and play my instrument and this and that. And I chuckled inside, because maybe some of you know and maybe some of you don't, but right. The book Song of Songs has nothing to do with music.
Right. So all of those kids were like, okay.
Like, uh-oh.
Right, they signed up for something in their comfort zone, and then you took them way out of their comfort zone to learn.
Way out of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
And for those of you that are curious, I won't make you go look it up in the scriptures, but the book about Song and Songs is about love and sex.
Yeah. Right, some people are like, it is?
It is? I know. Right. That will also confuse some people, but
Right.
But the greatest gift with that was there was someone who came up to me like two days after we started and said, I was really nervous about this when you told us what it was about, but I'm glad I'm in this class because I could have never had these conversations anywhere else.
Right, and they went from what in actual heck is going on to a huge 180.
Absolutely.
This was so awesome.
This is so awesome, yeah. And I think that's what happens is when we're asked to do something that's very different and out of our comfort zones, we need to be willing to kind of, we need to be willing to open ourselves up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And open our minds and not to let whatever happen, but to discern what we're being taught and what's being shared with us, whether it's a physical activity, whether it's an intellectual learning, whether it's an experience with other people. That's what life is about. That's what learning is about, to have the wherewithal to broaden ourselves and to not remain where we have been or where we are, or to think that what worked for us as a kid is still going to work for us as an adult.
I had the honor and the privilege to teach public speaking for many years. And for a lot of people, that is their Achilles heel, or that's their kryptonite, or whatever that is. Because, we know a lot of people as grown adults who'll throw up if they have to stand in front of somebody and talk about anything, themselves included.
Yeah.
And the first day of class, I used to take the whole class out to the 50-yard line, center field, and make them and hand them either Kennedy's inauguration speech, Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream. I had a whole list of stuff they could pick from, and they had to deliver on the first day of class, and it terrified them. But we did it with love, because if they got over that moment in a second, then they could they could open it up and let themselves try the rest of it. Because we talked about lots of different kinds of ways you like communicate, whether it's acting, giving teaching someone like directions. There's lots of ways that you publicly speak, but having them literally, like as a parent, remember, because some of our parents did this, took us and threw us into the deep end of the lake or the pool or whatever. Yeah, that can be a little terrifying, but I was there to be like, hey, no one's going to fail this. You just have to try. And holding them by that hand allowed them to be able to do that.
So,
and those kids are like, wow, it's the first day of class. And I'm like, I know, welcome to the first day of your life as a new public speaker. And they loved it. They loved it.
Yeah. And I can certainly relate to that public speaking thing. I mean, I remember when I was on my internship, which is working in another congregation, and the congregation works with the student pastor to kind of figure out what he or she's going to do. And in my particular setting, the congregation had been encouraging me for months, come out of the pulpit. And I'm like, no.
Right, because that's a safe place. Right.
I don't know how to write a manuscript, and it's got to be 3 pages long, and I know where the punctuation is. And
right.
And one Sunday, I just said 1 or 2 sentences, and I walked out, and the congregation goes, and then they go, yes! But they were there with me. They were there encouraging me along the way. And quite frankly, since that day, I rarely go into a pulpit now to preach. And, and I know that this is my style. Right. It is not everybody else's style.
Right.
But,
it's that leap.
Just last night, someone said to me, how do you do that on Sunday mornings?
Right, and some of the people who are watching don't know. So tell them how you do church, how you do worship service.
So when it comes time for the sermon, or when it comes time for the message, the homily, whatever you want to call it, I just stand up front and I just start talking.
He has no notes.
I have no notes. I mean, the truth is I do have notes, but they're usually sitting on my desk.
Yeah.
But I just figure out, this is kind of the way that I want to go. And, but I've done a lot of research. I've done a fair amount of reading up to that point.
And practicing. It's not your first day delivering those kinds of things. So, I mean, that's what ties this whole thing together, because when the first time you have to get out of your comfort zone, it is terrifying. Right, no matter what it is. And if I had to use a jackhammer tomorrow, that would be terrifying, because I would be very concerned that I would lose a foot. And I'm not trying to make light of that. Like, that would be something that is, I don't even know how to turn it on, let alone do anything. But once you've practiced and once you find your groove, then things become easy and they become natural for you. And that's the hard part, because I've even interviewed people regularly. I'll be like, okay, so we're going to get on this interview and we're going to do this. It's not going to be live. Don't worry. I'm not going to be mean to you, which is what I say to every new person. And there are times where I can see the face of the other person and they're like, because they don't know, because I'm really taking them out of their comfort zone. It's hard. It's hard.
So Kelly, I know you say this every week.
Oh,
when
no.
you and I are together. You say this every week to our viewers. Now, Pastor Jim and I have been talking to figure out what we're going to talk about.
Yep.
And the truth is, folks, that is the truth.
Yeah.
We have no idea what we're talking about until 30 minutes before we actually go live with the recording.
Yeah. And I'm sure that
I was talking about it.
I have other people that I interview that I cannot do that with them. They have a prepared thing, which is neither good nor bad. But if I said to them, put your notes away, let's just freeform it, they would lose their minds because that's significantly out of their comfort zone. But we have a different relation. I mean, it's not necessarily about our relationship. It sometimes is, and sometimes it isn't. We're just really both have skills at this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And truth be told, Kelly, if you were to say, I need to see your script beforehand, I would say, sorry.
Yeah.
Again, that's me.
Right.
That's me, and that's you, and we can do that. But we're accompanying each other in this.
Yeah. Right. We walk. Right.
Together.
We walk together. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to find someone who's willing to walk with you, or ask for help to find that person, because sometimes, oof. And for some people, the asking for help is the hardest thing in the whole universe.
And sometimes somebody might ask you, and you need to be willing to say, I'll give it a try.
Yeah. Right. Because even though it's easy for you, it might be because it's super hard for somebody. You just have to go, wait, how was it the first time I did this?
Right.
Oh, you're right. Using a jackhammer is hard.
But you know what? I see something in you that I know that I can help you grow. Are you interested in helping to grow in that? And then hopefully that person that extends that invitation to you is willing to walk with you to do that, so that you might continue to learn it and use their experience to help form where you are. And that's really all about life.
Yeah.
I was, there have been a number of people in my life who have turned 90 this year. I think I know of about 4 people that have turned 90. And most of them are saying, I never expected to live this long. Yeah. And when I say, and what do you think about it? And 99% of the time, the response is, I still have a desire to learn. Mm-hmm. I still have a desire to learn new things. And there's so much more out there that I don't know. And I still want to do that. And it's like, for me, that's like, wow, I hope I have that desire when I turn 70.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I turn 70, but to have that desire to learn and learn as in knowledge and to be aware of the world around, it's like, wow. Mm-hmm. Wow.
And that means you're continuously pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone. Because if it was same old, you're not really learning anything. You're just doing all the stuff you've always done. Learning pushes you into that place. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. To be able to do that and feel that feeling at any age. We've all been around people who haven't learned something new since the day they were whatever age, 18, 39, or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's about growing.
It's about growing. It's about becoming the better you. It's about becoming the better.
And I don't want anybody in the universe who's watching this to be like, oh, it's so easy for you guys. You're so cute. Okay, yeah, it isn't. It isn't. We talk about it like it's easy, but it's not. It is not. There are many days where it is a crying, foot stamping, sit around, self-pity, unattractive. Ugh. And then you turn the page.
Yeah. And then you turn the page.
And some people turn the page in an hour, and some people turn the page 2 years from now. Who cares? Yeah. Turn the page, man.
Yeah. Or you learn to take that next swim stroke.
Yeah. Yeah, I still suck at it, but hey, I'm willing to do it.
You're still moving forward too.
Yeah. I mean, I'm no Michael Phelps, but I don't need to be.
I just need to know that if you and I are ever in the same swimming hole, pool, or whatever, when I start swimming like a rock,
I
that
got
you're
you.
going to help me.
That's right.
That you're going to help me.
Yeah. Right.
That's all I need to know.
Right. Because, right. I don't have to be a Michael Phelps. I'm never going to be in a situation where that kind of prowess will be well regarded. I just need to not die. I can do that.
Yeah. Be yourself.
Those are fantastic words to end on. Pastor Jim, as always, thank you for taking me sometimes out of my comfort zone as well. I love it.
Thank you.
Absolutely love it.
And likewise. And likewise.
See you, everybody.
See you, folks.